Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. How's everybody? Anybody have an interesting thing that happened to them this weekend? Other than maybe getting rained on? Mm. Alrighty. Nobody has anything interesting that happened this weekend? Or nothing that you want to share? All right, let me let this last person in. And oh, birthday party. Oh, all right. Somebody's getting a truck for graduation. That's cool. Oh, Isabel, I'm sorry. I know you missed a few things, so let me know how you can you when you're ready to catch up. You got a new kitten. Oh, you got your kitten with you? Or they in another? No. Okay. I see you. I have a cat. He's very camera shy, does not like to be on camera at all. Oh, somebody did ancestry kind of thing. That's cool. Y'all did some interesting things this weekend. State fair. All right. Okay. And the Ray wants to get to work. All right. Well, let's get to work. I have, let me share my screen. I have a warm-up question for you. If you look in your, let's see, it should be on your to-do list. So let me make sure that it is. I do have a warm-up question. Who have a warm-up question? Yep. Warm-up question on community ecology is on your warm-up on your to-do list. So please look at that, everybody. All right. Almost everybody's in. I see my share page is taking its sweet time. There we go. All righty. So the warm-up question is exactly what it means. It's a warm-up question. So we're just going to take a few minutes. You have a definition. All right, there we go. Finally. Oh, Gabrielle, yeah, we have a nice long weekend coming up. Y'all did some interesting things this weekend. Yeah, Perry, Georgia does have the state fair. That's not too far from you, I guess. It'd be close. I think you're closer than I am. I think for me to get to Perry is about an hour and a half. Yeah, but it is a nice state fair. I used to do FBLA, and we took the students to the state fair one time. We had a great time. Great time. All right. Let's probably still be there on Monday. All right. Warm up, warm up question. Everybody's on Canvas. Everybody's looking at the to-do list, not in the module. Not in the module. All right. So if you look at your to-do list, it says warm up question on community ecology. So we were looking at biomes, and we're going to do another. Last thing we looked at before the test was terrestrial and aquatic biomes. So we're going to review the organization of living things, and we're going to look at biomes today. So there's a question for you to use your imagination for the next 10 minutes. Imagine you are walking through a nearby park or wooded area. We notice there are squirrels, oak trees, mushrooms, ants, birds, all sharing the same space. So that in itself refers back to a definition. What is the community in this example, and how is that different from an ecosystem? So there's two parts to the question. First, you have to identify when you're looking at this list of things, what part of that represents a community and what part of it represents ecosystem. Okay, so take the next 10 minutes to review that question. Now, what might help you with that is in your module, you, you have a chart. If my screen would stop jumping up and down, you have a chart that looks like this. And it has all the definitions for you. So right here, we have the definition of community and we have the definition of ecosystem. So again, in your module, in addition to it being a vocabulary word on your vocabulary page, the definitions for community and ecosystem are on the module that says levels of organization. Okay, so you can look at there for definition and then come back to the question. Which is to think about these things. And remember, it starts with you're walking in the woods or the park. So that's part of the scenario. And you notice these organisms in the area that you're walking in. Okay? 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Hopefully everybody will have arrived in the next 10 minutes. So while you're doing that, I'm going to stop sharing, do attendance, and then we'll look at your answers. All right, now warm-up questions are now questions. They're not a I'll think about it and do it later question. So if you'll notice, it's due today. While it might be open until Wednesday, it's due today. Your body is here. This is a question you need to do now. That's for the folks who log in and then take a walk. Because I got about 5 people who aren't even on camera. All right, the assignment was warm-up question. On community ecology. Community ecology. Got another 5 more minutes. All right, once you've answered the question, take a look at, give me 1 second, my attendance thing is slowly coming up. There we go. Take a look at the module that comes after the chart. We're going to be looking at ecosystems and biomes. We're going to do a small review on the difference between a biome and an ecosystem, and then we'll come back to that. 5 more minutes. Good morning, Landon. We are, yeah, I thought you were in already. Okay, we're doing the warm-up question. It should be on your to-do list. Missing person. Okay. All right. Someone asked, what are we doing after the warm-up? Right now is after the warm-up. All right, so hopefully you've looked at this chart. So just in reviewing again, when we talk about the organization of living things, we acknowledge the fact that everything on the planet starts off with little molecules or atoms. Um, the molecules are made up of, like for example, water molecule is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. And then on a living things layer level, we have the if you were doing macro biology, remember there were macromolecules such as nucleic acids that make up the DNA of living things. And then we add all those things and we put them in a cell. And the cell is the basic unit of structure for living things. Okay. Corinne, did you get kicked out? The folks are getting kicked out this morning. All right, so the cell is the basic unit of structure for living things. And you put a bunch of cells together and they make tissues, and then a bunch of tissues together in a specialized way. They make organs, and the specialized organs get together and they make organ systems, and then they make an organism. Okay, so ecology, like I said, usually starts with organism. So if we look at this picture that we have on the screen right now, the bison is our individual organism. And then when we do the definition for population, we say it's a group of organisms of the same type. So in this picture for population, the only thing you see is a lot of bison. You don't see anything else because the definition of a population refers to one thing. So it could be an oak tree and a yard of forest of oak trees. That would be the population of oak trees. And we're not looking at anything else, just the oak trees. So, and I say that because sometimes we tend to forget that um, plants are living things too. Okay. So again, bison is a living thing, plant is a living thing, and so we're not looking at anything else other than that. Then we move up to community, and the community takes into account that the bison aren't living by themselves. They live with other animals. So down here, they mentioned that in this picture, which you probably can't see very well, there are hawks. So you can see that one flying, snakes, the bison, the prairie dog, and the grass. Notice they included a plant. Okay, all of those things are living in the same area and they are living things. And then when we come up to, so that's the definition of community. Um, Take, for example, your community where you live. And a lot of times you think of the term community, you think about where you live, but think about it in terms of ecology. You have a population of people. Everybody lives in their own house. Um, in your community, you have trees and different types of trees. And there are probably squirrels, because this is the area we live in, with probably squirrels running around and other birds flying around. And all of those tend to hang out in your one little area called a community. So it's the same thing. You can relate that term community to the ecology community. All right, so then we take that and we go up to the next level, which is ecosystem. So today we're going to be looking at the difference between communities, ecosystems, and biomes. Um, so in a community, we are also including non-living things. All right, so up to now, we've been using the term biotic factors. Biotic means only the biological type things. When we get to ecosystems, we take the same group of organisms, but now we're considering the fact that the grass is growing in the dirt or the soil. The soil is not a living thing, but it is necessary for that grass to grow. So it's needed. So we're looking at the things that are needed by living things that are in our picture. So now we have some water, also non-living, air, also non-living. The sunshine is not in the picture, but sunshine, rocks, all of those are needed. So the rocks are needed for things to, some organisms grow on rocks. Some organisms find shelter in the rock. So that's part of the ecosystem. Okay. All right. So hopefully when you looked at your question, you let's go back to what your question was. If you came late, you were supposed to do the warm-up question, which I'm trying to get back to here, which was on your page. All right, so you imagine you were walking through a wooded area. So again, that's your environment, okay? You noticed there were squirrels and oak trees, mushrooms, ants, birds, all sharing the same space. So that is the definition of a community. They're all sharing all these different populations. We have a population of trees, a population of squirrels, population of oak trees, mushrooms, ants, birds. Those are all living things, and they're each in their own way a population. So that's the definition of community. Okay. And that's how you should have answered that question. The fact that each of these is a different population. So if you haven't answered it, I just gave you the answer. They're each a different population, but because they live in the same space, our little wooded area or park, it is called a community. And it's different from an ecosystem because nothing in this statement said anything about the air, the ground, the sunlight. None of that was, or lake nearby, because you might have been walking in the park and it might have been there, but that was not part of the statement. Okay. So that's what makes a community different from an ecosystem. All right. So again, if you haven't answered the question, that was the answer to the question, and it was due today. So hopefully you said something along those lines. All right, so so you had that to look at. So if you go to the very next page on your module, you should be here, ecological organization. All right, and then looking at all of the vocabulary words. So basically we just kind of skimmed through this vocabulary list by looking at that chart that I just showed you. So, and we had talked about aquatic biomes when we talked about Tybee Island last time. Um, all right, so and I'm going to skim through this because like I said, we just kind of talked about that with the chart I just did. I think that was the one that didn't work for anybody. All right, we've done that already. All right. Over here, where's that link? Right here. Hopefully you've downloaded this map. You're gonna need this for the activities that we're doing today. So let me go back. On this page, right up underneath this map, there's a thing here that says it would be helpful for you to see this handout. So you click on it and it will bring this up. So the map of the biomes of the world is always color coded. And then what they have underneath here, so they have the color coded key for you at the top, and then they have the definition or description of each biome listed underneath. So for example, it's the first one on the list says tropical wet forest. So if we look up here, tropical forest is green. So everything that is green has a description. It's near the equator. It's hot all year round. It has an annual rainfall of 125 to 660 centimeters of rain annually. The soil is nutrient poor, and the soil is nutrient poor because in this area, all of the life is up in the trees. All right, if we really study a rainforest, all the living things live up what we call a canopy layer. So the difference between a rainforest and a jungle is that a jungle, there's a lot of vegetation on the ground, so it's hard to walk through. A forest, all the vegetation is on the top, so you can walk through a forest easily. So that's something to keep in mind, the difference between a forest And so when this says that the soil is nutrient poor, it's because all of the vegetation, so to speak, is up in the canopy layer, as opposed to, like I said, in a jungle, it would be on the ground. You would have more things closer to the ground. Therefore, the soil would be richer because you would have things decaying. All right, scoot down here a little bit. Deciduous forest. If we look up here on the key, a temperate deciduous temperate forest is kind of, I want to say, peach colored. So if you look over here on the map of the United States, we live in the temperate deciduous forest. Okay, so that's how you would use this. You'd look at the color key, you look at the map, where is that? So if somebody asks you what's countries or what states or name a location on the map, you could say Georgia, Florida, it's a temperate forest. So this is how you would use. And then you would come down here and you would look at what are the characteristics of that area. And then think about this. Although, like I said, lately we've been getting an awful lot of rain. The annual rain for fall is only 76 to 120 centimeters of rain. The soil, the topsoil is rich and it has clay. So Georgia's known for its red clay soil. Um, Hardwoods, oak trees, beeches. If you look around, those are the kind of trees we have in our area. And again, these are the kind of organisms that tend to be in our part of the world. And if you think about it, you've seen these. All right, so just be familiar with how to use this chart. All right, we are going to do, and I'm going to send you, um, I had it loaded, but when you leave things too long, it disappears. Okay, so I'm going to put this code in the chat, and then I'll know when you got it because everybody will pop up on my screen here. Let's see if I can get it switched to everybody. All right, let me let this person in first before I send it. That way I don't have to send it twice. All right, so I'm sending you a code. Go to joinmyquiz.com. I got one, somebody. Two. All right, I put it in with the whole link for those of you who need the whole link. It looks like they have changed ownerships, formerly Quizzes, so now it is Wayground. But it's still going to be joinmyquiz.com. Yours is blocked. Shouldn't be blocked. Um, okay, give me a second. I'm gonna come out of this. Sometimes it's what y'all are also doing on the powers that be are monitoring Go Guardian. So it might be that you got something else going and they're monitoring you. Let me see, let me see, let me see. Because if everybody else can get in, something else going on. Isabella, were you able to get on? Okay, I see you in. All right. Um, yep, Anthony and Generical. Yes, they are browsing you. So, but it must be something y'all are doing because they watching you. All right. Okay, I'm gonna hit yeah, I don't know why they did that. You know how everybody changes names. I was surprised too because I was like, I logged into quizzes and all of a sudden I'm seeing this Waygrounds because it had me thinking I was in the wrong place too. All right, I started it. Um, and I'm switching it to student mode. All right, so it's in student mode now. So if you're logged in, go ahead and so it's slideshow. So read all the slides and then there are questions. Okay, let me see if I can take you off of one. Um, anyway, Camilla, do you just work on one, and whichever one you work on, I'll take out the other one. All right, Camilla, Dominguez, and we got a couple of people with similar name. So you start working on one, and I'll take out the one that you're not working on. All right, so again, everybody should be logged in. It's a slideshow. I put it at student mode so you can read it at your own pace, answer the question. It will give me a score at the end, and I will record that when it's done. Again, this is a now activity, not a when I get around to it activity. All right. Anthony, and try again. See if you're still blocked. You shouldn't be blocked. Refresh your page. Generical. Try again and see if you can't get in. Um, like I said, it might be something else that you got going on while the powers that be are watching your page. Yeah, restart your computer, refresh your page. Yes, you can. And it has music on my side on the program. If you want to mute that, because it keeps repeating all the time, so I usually mute it. All right, Peyton, you're in twice too. So whichever one you start working on, I'm going to delete the second one. Everybody should only be in once. So whichever one you start working on. All right, so Camilla, I see the one you're working on. I will delete the other one. All right, Peyton, same thing with you. Whichever one you start working on, I'm going to delete the other one. So do not be working on two pages at the same time. Okay, I got a lot of people who are in, but they're not working. And everybody's not in. I have 27 people in, and there are 32 people present. So, folks, again, this is a now activity. If you need me to put the code back in the chat, I can do that. I know of two people. So, Anthony, you said you were going to try to restart your computer. What about Generical? You can take notes if you wish. You can have that my own chart up as well. If you downloaded that chart that I was looking at, you can use that as well. Mm. All right. Um, Caden, is yours allowing you to change slides now? Okay, good. I think a lot of times the computer is just thinking about things, so you got to give it a minute. All right. Can't do the last slide. Um, Again, try to give it a minute to see if it'll refresh. It'll stop thinking and then let you answer the question, Jayla, maybe. Oh, my goodness. Wait for the teacher to continue. Okay. All right, give me a minute to finish looking at everybody else's situation. All right, Justin, I just put a link in the chat for you if you would join that. There is a slideshow show presentation. And I still don't have everyone's participation. All right. It is important that you sign in with your name and not a number. I got somebody's in here with a number. And so if you tell me, if you know that that's you, let me know because I can't give you your score if I don't know who to give it to. See your name on here. Again, if you know you logged in with a number, in fact, I tell you what, I know this person has started. I'm gonna take you out in a minute. Let me know who you are. Otherwise, I'm gonna cancel this person with a number. I'll leave you in and just record the name, but you gotta let me know. So whoever 787-105 is, I'm about to take you out of the program. You're gonna have to start over. Mm-mm. Why'd you do that? Justin, I saw your name on here. Justin, you're in because I see your name popped up on the list. Refresh your page. All right, two people told me that they are getting the message that says wait for the teacher. I don't know why it would do that. Okay. There should be no questions that are disabled. Those of you say who's it says that it's waiting, refresh your page because it shouldn't be waiting for me. You should be able to finish. Okay, let me look at that. Because I can't switch it back to teacher mode until everybody's finished. All right, Justin, now you're in twice. All right, so I have some people who are finished. I have like half the class who's finished, and half of you are still trying to think about it. See, like Caroline, it says that you hadn't even started, but you're saying you finished, unless you're on here twice. Oh, yeah, you are. All right, I'm gonna take this empty one off. Justin, you're on twice too. Um, so I need to take one of these off. So am I taking off Justin or am I taking off Justin D? All right, I have a lot of people who say they can't go to the last slide, and I would love to do that. But then if I switch to teacher mode, okay, so I'm gonna take Justin off because Justin D is working. Okay. Neve, I see nothing happening here. Alrighty. All right, so I'm gonna let you keep working on that. Those of you who are finished, and some of you are saying it won't let you go to the last slide. Is that for everybody? Okay. Oh, let's see. I don't know. And I don't see any. Oh, okay. Okay. Now I see some people who are where it says play the game, playing the game. That's that's saying wait till the last slide, but the slideshow shouldn't be telling you to wait till the last slide. I don't know what's happening. Some people are going through and some of you are not. And I don't know why some of you are and some of you aren't. Only thing I can ask you to do is refresh your page. Okay. Let me put that up and as I was about to do that. So let me share my page. All right, for those of you who are finished, let me I'm gonna share my screen. It's coming. It's coming. All right. So there is an assignment in here, and I'm probably going to have to. Actually, you can't see because I have to change the date on it. But I can see it. You can't. Okay. Let me fix this. Okay. You could see it, but the dates weren't right, so that you probably would not have been able. Okay, so you should see it now. And it was in the module. The reason you could see it because it was in the module, you just probably couldn't access it. All right, so let me go back. This is now in the room saying the right thing. Okay. All right, so we have looked at levels of organization. That's where your definitions were today. I want you to read over this page. So somebody asked me, what do we do if you're done? Read over this page, ecological interactions. This one has the vocabulary. Read over this page. And we'll come back to watching the videos. And then there is an assignment. All right, so I don't because most of you are working on the quizzes, you probably won't get to this today, which is why it's not due till the end of the week. But this is the follow-up. So on Wednesday when I see you, that's what we're going to do. So go back and read this one about habitat and niche and all of those definitions. Watch the videos. And Wednesday, that'll be our task to look at your community and answer the question from the standpoint of, all right. So the question is describe your place, you place in community using the following vocabulary words. So in your description, and what I would like for you to do if you're getting ready to start this, and I'll repeat this again on Wednesday, is to highlight these words when you're describing it. All right, so before you can do that, you need to read. All right, so this is what you're reading. And I think it's telling me that I have too many documents open. I'm gonna try to take that down a little bit. All right. And again, I would love to go to that last slide to help those of you who are stuck, but because everybody is not at the end, if I switch back to teacher mode, it will knock all these folks out. However, the class ends in about the next 5 minutes or so. So in the next 5 minutes, I will do that. And because some of you are not doing anything. So we shouldn't be waiting for those who are not doing anything. Okay, I don't know why it's blocked. I truly don't. But I will put it in as, and it's only blocked for some people. Let me see if I can do it like that. Hold on, I'm checking. Mm. All right, let me see what happens then. All right, it's not on student paste anymore, so we are on the last question. Mm-hmm. All right. I tell you what's, for those of you who are stuck, just stop where you are because I'm not able to switch back without kicking folks out of the program. So just stop where you are. In the last few minutes, come on back to Canvas. I'm going to investigate that. I'm going to put in a work order to see if, the name change has caused them to not recognize the site. Um, so while I will look at the results of these, I won't count it it's not registered in the grade book yet. So we'll discuss this. Okay, we will discuss the answers to this. Come back to it. I do have it as a worksheet, so hopefully everybody has at least had a chance to look at it, and then we'll do it as a worksheet instead. But I will put in, since they've changed the name, that might be something that it's not um, on their approved list anymore. So I will check, I will check, I will check. All right. So not to worry, not to worry. Like I said, I will take note of those who did what they did and who did wonderful and who's still working on it. But not to worry, this is not going to go in the grade book because everybody was not able to do this. Okay. Yeah. I know. I know. I see you. Okay. All right. So again, if you're still working on it, stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing. It's time in 2 seconds, 2 minutes, it's time to go. So stop what you're doing. It's switched from student pace to teacher mode now. So you can't do anything other than look at the last slide. All right. So again, we'll visit these questions again. I'll do it as a worksheet. I'll submit a worksheet for y'all to work on later on. So again, let's go back to what I was asking y'all to do. So let me share real quick before you go. Just something that you can read so that you know on Wednesday where we're going to start. All right, so on Wednesday, we're going to start with the Canvas unit that says roles in the ecosystem. And I'm trying to share. It's taking its sweet time. We're getting there. Roles in the ecosystem. Make sure you look at that. So read that over. Read, 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 read. And like I said, that's going to be where we pick up on Wednesday. And then the activity from Wednesday will be for you. So if you've never walked around your backyard or walked in your community, be observant. Be observant so that you can answer this question um, honestly by looking at what's in your community. Okay? You as a part of a community. And again, note the difference between community and ecosystem. So we're only worried about the living things in your area. All right, that being said, if nobody has any questions for me, it's one of those Mondays where if it can go wrong, it did go wrong. But thank you all for trying to make it through. All righty. So like I said, we'll do this on Wednesday. That's our objective on Wednesday. We're going to look at our habitat and community and your community. All right. All right. So if you have no questions for me, you all have a nice day. Okay. See, this keeps freezing. I'm looking at me, I'm freezing. Nathan, do you mean in the grade book or today?
Today.
Did you come in late?
My Wi-Fi went out.
Oh, okay. Now what I said was we were having trouble with the quizzes activity and people got stuck on the last slide and because I had to switch it back to teacher mode, that didn't let you do anything else. So we're gonna visit that activity again at another time. And I'm gonna do it on a worksheet. So that'll be a worksheet instead of going to the site. And I'm going to check with the school to see if that website is blocked now that it has a new name. I don't think it was y'all's fault. I think it was the fact that it's not quizzes anymore. It's now whatever this thing is, Wayground. Okay, so you're good. Yes, I said bye. So yes, you are allowed to leave. I'm just here because you're still here.